Hello, I'm David. Welcome to Bearlieu Farm. So, you've bought some land. You're gonna homestead. Let's get the sun out of the camera. Woo! So you're gonna homestead. You want some animals. Maybe some sheep. Maybe some pigs. Maybe a bunch of cattle. You know, who knows? You're gonna need some fence. Well, I decided last video I'm going to show how much stuff costs, because you know, people show how to build stuff all the time, but they never talk about the cost. And I'm like, man, I wonder how much that costs. So what we did, we redid the fence from this corner all the way down. We 45'd up, put a 10-foot gate, another 10-foot gate. We 45 down to the road, right about there, and went straight all the way down. We also ran an electric fence from that corner all the way up, all the way behind the house, all the way along the back fence, around the back corner, and to the back side of this building. Now, we did it mainly for the girlfriend's dogs, but we want to be able to turn animals too, because we do plan on getting some. Now, I tried to walk down there and get a really good view of the fence, but I can't. But basically, you've got several different kinds of wiring. Everything from cattle wire to sheep wire to plank fence to goat wire to chicken wire to whatever. All of the fencing that is used here on the farm is this wire. Dad switched over to this in the 90s. It's extremely expensive. It is a triple galvanized wire. I mean, this was done in, I don't know, 95, 99, 2000 maybe. So it's 25 or 30 years old, and the wire looks as good as the day we put it in. All the fence posts, he switched to a creosote infused post, which you can't get. Well, you can get them. You're just going to pay ridiculous amounts of money for them. So if you look on my fence, my end post and brace posts, they're all treated. And my brother's done some fence work out here, and they're all just regular treated too. Just because the cost of the creosote posts are so expensive. I think he said it was like $30,000 for a semi-load. And I have no clue how many posts come on there. But, you know, that's not worth it to us to do that. Now, on the 45, I actually used a 2x4 wire. It's stiffer than like chicken wire, but not as strong as this stuff. And the reason is because you get into stretching it and those short runs like that. And that was the cheapest way. And they must put more than 100 foot on a roll, because it was 49 feet and then 48 feet, I think is what I needed. And then you got to allow for a couple feet on the end post to wrap. So that's, you know, 106 foot total, give or take. And I still had a little bit left over. So it, they're obviously send a little bit more. Maybe it's what they consider 100 usable feet. My brother's got these cows open to this field, which is the same as those other cows. This fence line's got a gate in it. And I tell you, sometimes at night they get on this side and they get on the other side, and they just talk back and forth on my yard. Now the electric fence box, I don't have it wired in, I've just got an extension cord. The 120 mile box was on sale, so it wasn't very much more expensive than just the regular 10 or 20 mile. And that'll be good enough, and that's a hot box. If it arcs out anywhere, you definitely hear it when you're walking around. Let me go in here to my filing cabinet. I don't know if I have a place to set this phone up. I used to have a tripod here, but it's gone. I need something to prop up the phone. Ooh, a miniature 5-gallon bucket. Will that work? actually works extremely well. Alright. Let's get into the nuts and pickles of it. Into my handy dandy filing cabinet that I've already lost some paperwork to. Alright, fence posts. Now, my brother actually paid for these to help me out, and also to tie off his cattle fence, because those fences run, you know, hundreds of feet in either direction. So, but the ones that we bought, it was $78 for fence posts. That included six. These are all 8 foot, but 6 inch and then 4 inch. The 6 inch are the end posts and the brace posts because they need to be a little bit bigger. The line posts were 4 inch. Price was $17.50 a piece for the 6 inch posts, $12.75 a piece for the 4 inch post. We got those in Southern States. As far as I know, they're the easiest place to get fence posts around here. My receipts are not as clean as they could be. You know, this much receipt, and the rest of this is just all junk. I don't know why they put all this crap in here. That's all my tax exempt. By the way, if you're not set up as a farm, you need to be for all this stuff. There's no reason not to be. The electric fence stuff, $297.34. That included all the wire. That included isolators, a couple gate connectors, obviously the box, and we actually got a couple other little piddly things. But it was $297, and we got the $30 2-year replacement plan. Lightning strikes or something, they may come. The gates down there, they were $104 a piece, and the wire was $109 for the actual fence down there. Half of these receipts are junk. They put just so much stuff on there, it's crazy. Now, something else I did, if you know in the last videos, I went through and I hit a water line with the auger. So I decided to add a spigot down there. $297.09 for the spigot. That was $129 for the faucet. That is a 4-foot frost-free. And I also had to buy the crimp tool for the PEX and, you know, all the crimp rings and fittings and all that good stuff. They had plastic. I went with all brass. I don't know why. I'm sure the plastic's fine. It just seemed like if I was burying it, you know, if I dig it back up, I'd like to have it. Now, for equipment rental, I rented that excavator to dig out for the water line, and that was right about $200. They charged me less than half a day because I literally only had it about an hour. And I tell you, that little thing is slicker than snot. Definitely will be investing in one of those at some point in time, maybe. One thing I didn't have to pay for was my brother's Bobcat. I am fortunate enough that he has that for me to use. I've mentioned that many times. I'm very, very thankful that he lets me use it pretty much whenever I need to. The big thing with that was the rock auger he had on there. This fence row, I think we had 90% of the holes were in absolute rock, and that thing is spectacular for going through that. I think he said it was $50 a hole, the last one he rented, or maybe if you have somebody doing the fences, it's $50 a roll, or a hole if you hit rock. I'm sure he can comment and clarify on that. So it's expensive, you know. If you don't have that, you need to rent one. I've got an auger for my tractor, but it wouldn't do it. You know, it's just for dirt. It wouldn't do anything for that. It just sits there and bounces. So the rock auger was a super big helpful. That fence was really shallow anyway because we didn't have that whenever that fence was put in, which I'm assuming in the late 90s, early 2000s, because I think I was in the military at the time. I didn't partake in that venture. Not that fence at the road, but you know, you hit that rock, and we ran into it when we put in my driveway. It was just shallow, and you know, it was never done right. So, like I say, I'll put a total up here, whatever all these costs were. I'm not going to try to calculate in my head. I'm tired. But that's what it cost to do. I think it was 260 feet of fence down there, plus a hose bib, plus another 800 foot of electric fence. You know, here's the total for it. It can be expensive, you know, and that's with us doing pretty much all the labor. You know, brother didn't charge me anything for his time. Obviously, girlfriend, you know, there's no money exchange there. So if you have family, friends, and somebody with a Bobcat, you can get it done cheaper than average. But that was the first project of this series. Like I say, I'm gonna start really keeping track of all this stuff. I keep all the receipts anyway because it's all a tax write-off for me. For those that have following around, I don't own this land, but I own my house. It's complicated, but technically that classifies me as a tenant farmer because I do piddle around out here a little bit, so I can take advantage of all the tax write-offs and stuff, which is nice. I do it for my brother when he pays me for moving hay and all that stuff. It's all included, you know. Makes it nice. Everybody says, well, you know, it's just cash. You don't have to claim it, but I do. I claim every single penny I make moving hay. I claim every single penny I make off of anything I sell. You know, my seeds, occasionally the produce and stuff. I claim it all. You know, I'm all about taking the full tax write-offs, but I'm going to be honest about it, and I'm going to claim all my income. But like I say, that's all I wanted to do. Just a quick little video on this. I thought about it after the fact, so I didn't keep track. Maybe do it as I go next time, you know, because you always run into like that $300 for that faucet. You know, I hadn't planned on that, so you know, there's always extra stuff that comes up, and I didn't have to have it, but I figured since I was doing it anyway, you know, maybe some sheep or something down there at some point. But as always, you guys be good and be safe. I appreciate you watching. If you have any questions on this, the fencing, you know, what it is, where it is, how I did it, let me know, and I'll try to get you some answers. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.